breaking news. It's been a minute since it's been out, but DB Quinten Johnson back for his 6th year, withdrawing from the NFL draft to return to his 6th year, and there is so much in terms of positives and ramifications, positive ramifications for the program. Before we get to the playoff, though, even just generally about NIL and what does this mean that a player that was going to go to the draft has decided to come back thanks to the Randy Wise Automotive team, who is welcome to sponsor Michigan Wolverines Live if they would like to. But anyway, so what do you think this means for the NIL situation and bringing a player back like this?
Yeah, so this is huge. This is what we were looking for. I mean, this is a nice sign in the right direction. We want to see this more in the high school area, not just our own, but it's not even just the Randy Wise connection. There was more NIL involved to bring him back, and they actually were working on this for over a month. So wow. That's what I've heard. So, yeah, I think this is big news for the program. This shows that the NIL is evolving, taking steps in the right direction. And again, you got to credit Sean McGee and Sharon Moore for putting the infrastructure in place, the donors being more motivated, and we're now starting to see the fruits of that hard work. And I can't. When I saw this yesterday, I was so excited because I was like, not only did they do this, but they're publicly promoting it, and we can thank Tennessee for that because now the NCAA has no jurisdiction, has no way of punishing schools for doing NIL. So it's open season. And I do think Michigan's going to start playing ball, as we can see.
But yeah, and they've always had a policy, it seems like, of rewarding current players who do well on the field. And the sales pitch being, you do well on the field, you can do well with NIL. And at least that seems like it's starting to happen.
Right. And you're seeing, Quinten Johnson isn't a Will Johnson, right? He's not, he's not a JJ McCarthy. So when you see these guys who are lower on the depth chart get these types of deals and start making more money, this is what you need to start looking for because this wasn't happening before. The only way the guys were making money previously is during those autograph sessions, when the whole team would do it. And then they would divvy up the entry fees and all of that. So, this is good. This is another step in the right direction. I'm looking to see this occur with the high school level. We've yet to see that really happen. So that's the next step for me, which hopefully we do see happen. But it again, we do know we're in the 8 figures in terms of total NIL, retention of money, and this is we're working our way up the ladder, and that's what we want to see.
And I don't know if you caught Nick Saban, who has been getting very vocal about NIL and NIL being a key reason why he retired. And he said, Miss Terry went to him and said, well, why are we doing this? What are we doing? Because all the players, they don't care about development anymore. And I don't know if that's necessarily true across the board. I think he's just generalizing. But, clearly Michigan shows that it's not completely the case all the time. But, that instead of caring about development and about, helping with life skills and things like that, it's about NIL. So, this is the world we're living in now, especially after the ruling.
Yeah, I think that's actually hilarious, though, because Nick Saban has been paying recruits since
allegedly. Yes, allegedly.
He was giving kids $60K to come to Alabama over 10 years ago, and the Valdosta high school coach exposed him, which if people don't know what Valdosta is, it's a very prestigious high school program in Georgia. And if you look at any coach who leaves the Saban tree, Sarkisian, Kirby Smart, etc., they start thriving in the same game. And it's because they learn from the masters. So, I find it interesting. He's not wrong, though. Obviously, things are more extreme. But I think the reality is competition got too much, and kids and the price of players became so heavy, and it became so normalized. It got to a point where it was an uncomfortable situation for him. But I don't have any sympathy for him because he's the godfather of he's not the godfather. This has been going on since the 60s. Let's be honest. But Saban's success is largely contributed to the financial inducement of players.
Yeah, I'm kind of in the middle on this one because on the one hand, the people who are saying that Nick Saban's and you're not doing this, but there are people who are saying Nick Saban's doing this because he's doing the old man shaking his fist. And we all know that Nick Saban, the only reason he won so many titles was because he was able to innovate his offense, bring in Lane Kiffin, Sark, and go to more of a spread concept on offense. And on defense, he also made changes. And without that, he wouldn't have won all his titles. But on the other hand, I'm with you. Like he's just upset he's not one of five coaches paying players. Now everybody gets to pay players. Exactly. So he's a little upset with the parity now that's happening. But
no, I mean you're 100% right because he evolved his schematic system offensively. He's also a great developer of leaders. I mean his coaching tree is legit. It's one of the better ones. And if it was as easy as just paying for players, Texas A&M, Miami, USC would be far better than they are. So the reality is he is a damn good coach, but he did have a little assistance,
True. And, so back to Quinten, there were a couple of plays. Obviously he had some real impact plays, this past year, most notably the fumble on Jalen Milroe in the Rose Bowl, which honestly, every single defensive play that they made was so crucial because the way Saban works, like you have to play you don't have to play perfect, but you have to play pretty strong football to beat Nick Saban. And every one of those plays was so important. Quinten Johnson had a pretty major one with that fumble.
Yeah, definitely. And, with Keon Saab leaving for Alabama, right, there's definitely an opportunity here for playing time. Now, I've seen some people be upset with, Quinten Johnson's going to block playing time for the younger players in development. But the reality is there's going to be tons of opportunity because you have Keon Saab gone, Mike Sanderson's gone. Mm-hmm. And the way that we do our defense, we have, all the different packages where you can throw extra guys in there, a dime backer, So, like DJ Walker could play dime backer. So, like, the reality is, like, I think it's going to be a great addition. Our defense was already going to be strong. It just got stronger. I mean, this definitely is not a negative.
Well, also, wasn't Keon Sabb the projected nickel back with both of the starting safeties returning? So with him going to Alabama, there's an opportunity to be a nickel back
exactly.
and play quite a few reps. So this argument was made when Blake Corum came. At Blake, was he blocking reps from Donovan Edwards and others? And then we saw that they made it work. Right? They made it work. And so my long-winded point is kind of asking the question, with a player like this coming back, who's able to make plays at the very highest level, the biggest games in Michigan, I would call the Rose Bowl one of the biggest games we've ever had in the entire history of the program. Yes. And he was able to make that play at that time. Right. With a player like that coming back, does it help Michigan get into the playoff at 10-2 potentially?
Well, it doesn't hurt. I'll say that, right? The beauty of college football is your upperclassmen, your juniors, your seniors, your redshirt seniors. Although he will be a 6-year player, thank you, COVID. But the value of that, the IQ of those players is just it's tenfold, right? You're teaching the younger guys, you understand the game better, and it's only gonna. I think it strengthens the back end of the defense. We do have some questions at our number 2 corner. He's obviously going to play safety, but in terms of the back end of the defense, though, I just think it only strengthens it, right? So, I mean, personally, the question for me, and I know I've repeated this, it's simply how's our offense going to be? Who's our quarterback? Outside of that, I think defensively we are a national championship caliber defense. I think we will be.
I agree. Yeah. I don't think that's a homer take. I think that's spot on. Even with the coaching, because I think that who said it? Steve Dace said this that the selection of Wink Martindale as DC was the best selection they could have made to maintain the stability of the defense. Now that they've made that selection and the defensive coaches, I agree with you. I think that they will be able to maintain a championship level defense. And the real question mark is who's the quarterback? And we're going to find out as we start covering spring ball. And I don't know about you, but I'm really pumped for the spring game and seeing these quarterbacks go against each other for the spring game.
Yeah, I can't wait. I mean, the competition at multiple positions from wide receiver to running back, because even though Donovan Edwards is likely going to be the guy, who's going to be number 2, right? Who's going to take that, and then offensive line battles. The spring game is going to be huge. Obviously, we'll cover that in future weeks, but yeah, I mean, spring is going to be a great time because we're going to see how the coaches work with the players, and then the game itself is going to be, it's going to be a good time.